Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your voyage over the last couple weeks has been great. Mine has been jam-packed with lots of new stuff. Who knew 2020 would be the year of spin-off games? But before we move forward, and before I introduce my amazing, mind-blowing, phenomenal guests, first let's give a quick shout-out to the Sages of the Lodge, them being Alex Pamal, David Freeze, Shane Driscoll, Chris Burkowski, Corey Barchat, Scott Castellano, the family, Andrew Parker, Nick Taborski, Charlotte Astry, Kevin McBride, Michael Fay, Richard Arnold, Dan Muller, and Andrew Clay. Thank you very much for your monthly donations and keeping the lodge going. So now, without further ado, I feel like I don't know whether to introduce you both at once, whether to introduce you individually. I'm not quite sure. Let's just roll with it. StephCast and Andy Bru are in the lodge today. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Steph, you can go first.
Okay, yeah, I'll go, and then I'll pass it right to you, man. It's a good time. So, Melody of Memory came out. We're hyped. We have a lot to talk about, but thank you, Nick, for having me on. It was a blast last time. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Andy.
Yeah, dude, we're in the lodge once again. We're chilling in the lodge. Yeah, you'll love to see it. There's no place to be than the lodge, you know? Like, I don't know what else to say. But yeah, dude, Melody Memory came out. We're going to be talking about that, I'm sure, today. And, you know, some stuff to expect with Kingdom Hearts going forward. And, yeah, I'm just super excited. It's really cool having all three of us together in one space talking about this. I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm just excited. So let's get it.
Hell yes. So if you haven't completed Melody of Memory and you don't want to be spoiled, get the hell out of here now, because we're not holding back. I assume both you guys have finished the game, or at the very least seen the cutscenes at the end?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start. First things first. What were your guys' first impressions, quick thoughts on the game upon completing it? How did you feel? Do you feel like it was worth the $60? How'd you like the story content? Let's just get our overall feelings on it before we break into the specifics.
Yeah, I loved it. I've loved the music of Kingdom Hearts. It's like some of my favorite gaming music ever. Some of my favorite music ever, I should say. You know, like Yoko, Shimamura is a whole genre on her own. And so it's like, I make that joke a lot. It's like, what's your favorite genre, Yoko Shimamura? Like, what do you want me to say? But it was phenomenal. I had such a blast with it, you know, just like reliving a lot of moments in the series via song and memory dives and all that. And, you know, although we didn't get a ton of story content, I wasn't really expecting a ton of story content, but I was satisfied with what we got, because now it makes me more super hype for what's to come next. So yeah, I loved it. I've been loving the online mode. Actually. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, everything, it's just a fun time. It's a fun time. So that's me.
Yeah.
How about you, Steph?
It's like the same thing. So my first just initial thoughts were when I started playing, just hopped right in the world tour, you know, and the gameplay was really nice, because I don't usually play rhythm games, but the way they set it up and they made it fun, they made it unique too. One of my favorite things is just how you're playing a rhythm game, but there's still a lot of action going on. There's a lot of stuff flying at you, you know. Sora's still using the Keyblade. There's multiple different teams you can use. And I thought also, I don't know if y'all thought this, but I thought the graphics, like the stages, I thought they looked really crisp. Like, it looked really good. And
man, it was so hard for me to like pay attention to the stages because I'm trying to like focus, but I totally it looked phenomenal. But keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I was playing. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but to like get through the game, I was playing on beginner. I did try standard a lot. But so I had time. You know what I'm saying? I had time because it was slower. But I had time to look around more. And so gameplay, I thought they did a great job with that. Also, like the main menu, how it has like, depending on which team you have.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying? How they like kind of are interactive too, and they're moving and stuff.
Oh man, yeah.
I thought they did a great job with that too. The ending sequence, like you said, didn't have much story content, but at the same time, it was effective, and it like set up what's to come. So I think it's worth the $60. Kingdom
Oh
Hearts.
yeah, for sure.
The music's always good. We've never had a complaint about the music. I thought it was probably, if anything, long overdue that we have a rhythm game. We got it now, which is kind of, it's whatever you're into. A lot of people don't like side games, but I enjoyed it, had a good time, and it made me more excited for what's to come for sure.
Yeah, and like the replayability is like so high on this game. Like, you go through every song, beginner, standard, proud, if you want. You go through the whole world tour. You've got performer mode. You've got one button mode. You've got online. It's like the replayability is so high, and it plays like a Kingdom Hearts game. Like it's a rhythm game, but it plays like a Kingdom Hearts game, and that's what makes it really cool.
Well, I think the thing that took me the most by surprise, and, they showed this off in the trailers. I guess it just didn't compute until I actually got my hands on it. But there's 3 different play styles, right? You have that standard sort of run-of-the-mill when you're on the tracks. You have the boss battles, and then you have the courses that you fly through. And all three of them feel very different. And just cycling between the 3 throughout the world tour always kept the gameplay experience feeling really fresh. You know what I mean? It's like just as you started to get used to or maybe a little bored of one play style, that is like time was on their side. It moved you right into a different sort of play style, which I love. The boss battles personally were my favorite. I can't get enough of the boss battles in this game.
Yeah, I actually one thing I wish there was more boss battles in the game. That's one thing I
would
wish.
agree with that. I would agree with
that. But like part of me is like, I wish I was, but at the same time I'm like, man, doing those on Proud is like so hard. Like,
have you done Xehanort on Proud?
So no, but you can do like a demo, like you can like watch like how it's done on Proud.
Oh, that's cool.
Or like on any difficulty. There's like an option, it's like next to the play option. So there's play, and then there's like a play button. And then if you hit the play button, it does a demo, and it shows you like how it's like.
I had no
played.
idea.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that until afterwards. Somebody in chat told
Holy
me.
hell.
And
cool.
so I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch Dark Dominion on Proud Performer, and it was literally like my mind, like Windows Vista was not responding. I couldn't compute it. Like it was just like, I don't know. But no, I actually did though, because they also have the boss themes as like the standard tracks as well, like with the Heartless and stuff.
Right.
And so I did spend a good amount of time almost perfecting Dark Dominion on that. Like I got a full chain on that, but like that happened like once and I was like, I'm done. Like I'm good. I'm retiring from this song forever. But no, like I wish there was like a few more bosses. Like I thought it'd be really cool to have like a Terranort fight at the end of the Birth by Sleep segment.
That's like a secret boss sort of.
Yeah, or like the Armored Ventus Nightmare from like during Drop Distance. Like I just like a couple more boss fights would have been cool. But I'm not like disappointed by it. Like I went into this game like with not crazy high expectations because I was like, it's a rhythm game. I'm here to celebrate the music and get some story content along the way. Let's do it. And
I'll tell you what they really captured was making this game feel like a celebration of the Darkseeker saga.
Yeah,
so that's really what it felt like, and maybe we can get into the story a little bit here. I loved the touch that Master Xehanort, old Xehanort, was the one under the hood, because when you think about it, that's who's haunting Kairi, right?
Yeah.
He straight yeeted her. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I know there's a lot of speculation of who it might have been under the hood. Some people thought it might be the Master of Masters. Some people thought it might be Apprentice Xehanort. I was actually really happy.
Me.
Yeah.
I
was really happy
Master
to see the old man there.
You know what's so funny? Because initially when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh, Master of Masters. But then I like watched it again. I was like, okay, he's standing like Xehanort and he's all hunched over. So it has to be Xehanort. And I was like, so that's why I wasn't like super surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I figured, but like I could see how people would think that, it's like you see somebody with a hood. Oh, it's got to be the Master.
Well,
Masters.
who knows who it could be?
Man, gosh.
So, Quadratum, what were your guys' first thoughts? We now have a quote unquote world of fiction. And do you really think Quadratum is the world of fiction? Or do you think both sides see the other side as fiction or unreality?
Steph, you
Sure.
want to take this one first?
I'll go for it. Okay, so that's an interesting thought because it's like, at what point do they know they're a video game, or is it, if you think about it, it's like, if you're in a video game, technically that's your reality. Because if you, and it's a trippy thought. Now I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying?
But this is why we pay $60 every year or so, okay?
Yeah.
To get tripped out.
Yeah. I mean, Quadratum first. The first initial thought when I heard the name of it, because I thought of the Nomura interview when he was like, it's Shibuya, but it's not Shibuya, and I was like, okay, like that makes sense. And it's Quadratum. I don't know what that means. I think it means
It
like
means square. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's an homage to Square. It seems like a pretty deliberate homage to Square Enix.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I heard that, and then when they start talking about, the whole, if you end up on the other side, which of course we learned the other side is Quadratum, or at least Quadratum's a part of the other side, I guess, which is another trippy thought. But I don't know, because if Yozora and he crossed over, and then Luxord also crossed over, but then it talks about, which I'm kind of getting off topic. I'll just answer the question. I don't know. I don't know if if they think, Destiny Islands or the Kingdom Hearts realms of light and darkness and sleep. I don't know if they think that's fiction to them, because I mean I don't know. That's like quantum physics. I don't know how to explain that, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. That's an interesting question, because it's like, we don't know what or how many people on the other side know about like ours. I'm just going to say our side is like, the Kingdom Hearts side.
Yeah.
As our side of reality. Like how many, obviously Luxord, I feel like, because, he crossed over. We're assuming that he's originally from the Quadratum, the other side. But yeah, it's like, I think that's interesting. Like, I can totally see that being a thing. Like, maybe like if Yozora and like that whole gang like know about like our side of reality, and if they think that it's also, I mean, it would make sense. It's like that's what they've known their whole lives is like their side. It's really interesting. Quadratum meaning square. I'm sure we're gonna talk more about that later. But yeah, like. It opened up a whole new just realm of just possibilities. Like Nomura has like too much power, but I'm okay with it. Like I'm totally okay with it. Like do what you want. But yeah, like it's interesting. I'm excited because I don't know where this story's going.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that's why I'm excited,
Well, let me ask you. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Final Fantasy Versus 13 and how that was Nomura's original project and it got moved to 15. He got taken off the project, and that Yozora is a way for him to kind of rope those ideas back into play. Do you think they're in the realm of fiction or unreality? Because technically this is a vision that never came to light in the Square Enix world?
I think... to an extent, yes. Like to an extent, like it's not like in the next Kingdom Hearts game when whoever crosses over that we're gonna be in a versus 13 world and that's what it's gonna be, or but I think to an extent, like you can tell through Kingdom Hearts 3 especially with the conversation with like the star that Nomura was really like taking like jabs at everybody, because like he threw in lines like, they took away my name, everything about me. Like it's like you can tell. And so I think to an extent, yes. Like I think we're gonna see. I don't think we're gonna have like Final Fantasy Versus 13 flat out just drawn out in like a Kingdom Hearts game as like Nomura maybe pictured it, but we're gonna have like something kind of like in relation to that, like something that like like that, but it's gonna be like Kingdom Hearts-y. I don't know how to describe it, if that makes sense. But like to an extent, to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So yes, comma maybe.
Yes, comma maybe.
It sounds like really poetic when you say it that way, because it's like you're saying, I think like the way you question or the way you asked the question, you were saying that it's fiction because it never came to life. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
Which
the
is
vision
kind of
never came to life.
right. Yeah, which is it actually is very poetic, and it's I think the way that because they could have put Verum Rex into this or Quadratum now that we know they could have put it in Kingdom Hearts without making it like quote unquote the fiction world or the other side, the world that's out of reality. So when you say it that way, when you say the reason why it's fiction is because of Versus 13 never came to life, that's like super poetic, and I could definitely see like Nomura thinking that in his head, like that's how I want to write the story because
for sure.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
It seems to at least symbolically sort of line up. Whether it's like completely deliberate or on the nose, I guess is another question.
Right.
But at least so far, it seems a little bit symbolic at the least. I keep coming back to this line Ansem the Wise had about Sora in Dream Drop Distance, where he says like he has the power to recreate the hearts and existences that we thought were lost forever. And you know, in Dream Drop Distance, you're thinking of Aqua, you're thinking of Terra, Ventus, but now the same thing can sort of be applied to maybe Yozora and the Versus 13 idea. I don't know. In a weird way, that kind of gives Sora like a breaking the fourth wall power. It's like he not only saves characters from his own game, he straight up, through the power of waking or whatever, you know, mumbo jumbo we come up with here, is going to be able to literally recreate and save characters from other games or other cancel projects. I don't know. Just spit.
That's a really cool concept. Like saving characters from cancel projects, you know, like talk about like breaking like a fourth wall, but also like, I don't know, I honestly hope Nomura really does go somewhere along this route because I think it would be really awesome because like Versus 13 was like his child, you know? And so like, I don't know. I think that would be really sick personally.
Okay, let's talk about his comment saying he's going to change up the formula. What, like off the top of your heads, what does that mean to you guys?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, when I think about that, I just think that he's saying, so we got to think about Kingdom Hearts. It's been around for just about, like, what, 18 years? Almost 20?
It's going to be 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022 will be 20th anniversary.
Yeah, so it's been around for a long time, and it's like Kingdom Hearts does have its core of, you know, RPG gameplay, and then it also has its, like, spin-offs, which have different variations of it, but then we got Melody of Memory, then we have, you know, mobile games. We have Chain of Memories, which uses, like, just a way different gameplay style, but I don't know. I'm thinking it means that, gameplay-wise, but it could also be inferring to the way he takes the story, which the story is going in. I would say the story is like a circle that just shoots in all directions, like because it's going in so many different routes. But I assume it's going to all come together just like he did with this saga. So I mean, dude, I don't know the formula. The formula for Nomura is probably like some crazy rocket science stuff. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so the first thing I thought of, and I actually didn't read, because you guys sent me the link to this, I think like a couple of days ago, and so I read that after finishing the game, and the first thing I thought of, and this is taking in a different direction, but because Quadratum means square, and so maybe a reference to Square Enix, and I'm like low-key hoping that this is a possibility, but like changing the formula as in Quadratum, are we going to get like Final Fantasy worlds along with Disney worlds? Because I think that would be sick. And if there's any time to do it, this is how you would do it. You know, the other side of reality. Just imagine like Sora in like Midgar or oh my gosh.
Dude, you could rope in Chrono Trigger, man. There's so much.
Or like Dragon Quest, or like I don't know, you know, Marvel's Avengers. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Not if they want to make money.
Yeah, but it's just like it's a really cool concept. And then what would be cool is like I just thought of this now. I don't think, honestly, from like a player standpoint, I don't think this would be a good idea, but like depending on what world you would go to, it's like that's what like gameplay mechanic you have to adjust to. So like think about how like 7 Remake plays, how it's like the ATB/action.
Oh god.
Like I think that would be a bad route to go in terms from a playing standpoint because you're trying to do like too many things at once.
Yeah, it's juggling too many things.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that would be interesting. Kind of like Recoded kind of did something like that.
Yeah.
Now I think about it with the Coliseum.
Well, I wouldn't mind if they sort of like they don't have to adopt the whole 7 Remake.
Yeah, no,
like,
I don't think they should.
I wouldn't mind if they adopted the idea of cycling around your party though.
Oh yeah,
or like, giving your party commands. This way, the Donald meme can finally end.
Like it would be sick if like you had, okay, let's just for example, like if you had like a Sora, Riku, and Kairi game, you know, you can just like you can level up your characters and just cycle between your characters instead of just having like you know. I think that would be cool. It like the gameplay should stay Kingdom Hearts.
Action like, RPG at the least.
Yeah, it should not. I don't think it should deviate from that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be something interesting to like kind of think about because now it's like, you know, you've got especially with like Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, we had all these like cool characters that we could have played as, and we were limited to. And Remind anyway, Sora, Roxas for one fight, and Aqua for a couple of fights. And Riku for a couple of fights.
Yeah, more of that, please.
Yeah, and like, but it would be cool to play as like more of those characters because we got Ventus, Terra, Shion, you know, and Kairi. Oh my gosh, more Kairi, please, you know. But yeah, like I think that would be like keep it Kingdom Hearts, but let's experiment with like you know different playable characters. It would be cool if it was like an actual like MMO type style where like you could play online and then you choose who you play as and like I don't know, I'm just spitballing. Like yeah. I'm thinking of ideas that like could be cool, but also could be a train wreck if it's done wrong. Like it's anything can happen. Yeah.
So I gave his comments a lot of thought when he says mixing up the formula, and I actually think he may not mean the gameplay in general because when you think about it, the gameplay outside of the numbered titles. There hasn't been a consistent formula. They're experimenting the whole time. What has stayed the same, and this is me projecting because this is what I want to change personally, is, and this hasn't been a problem, but it's something that'd be nice to mix up, is every Kingdom Hearts game kind of operates the same in the sense that you start the game, you're in a Kingdom Hearts world, we establish what's going on, we go to Disney worlds, come back to Kingdom Hearts worlds, go to Disney worlds, finish off at Kingdom Hearts.
I see what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe instead of just, okay, we beat Disney World A, let's go to Disney World B, then Disney World C, is instead maybe blending the Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and Disney Worlds a little more evenly across the plane. Because it's really been like 1/3 Kingdom Hearts worlds, 2/3 Disney, whereas maybe now we get a third of each. Something like that. And maybe it's not as simple as hop to this world and then you go there and you're done, then you hop to this one. Maybe now something like Quadratum can serve as a hub world, and then you can almost choose in what order you want to go to the worlds. And then maybe you have to swing back and forth between them to retrieve different things or do different side quests. Maybe now the idea is instead of the gummy ship kind of being your hub, maybe a place like Quadratum turns into the hub. I don't know. Like you guys, I'm just spitballing here. But when he says formula, I try to think of what's been consistent in all the games. And the idea of Disney World A, B, C has kind of been that. I don't know. Just me guessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think like, again, I think, you know, what you were saying is in terms of gameplay, I don't think he would change too much.
Don't fix what isn't broken.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I actually really like that idea. I think that's really cool because like it would be cool to, again, like not just have like a gummy ship and then that's like your hub. Like you're going back here and then you're just going to worlds, but have like an actual hub world. You come back here and maybe there's stuff to unlock in this world to further like progress the story, but you've got to go to other worlds before you can like progress further into, I don't know, like it
might be a little more like, back and forth.
Yeah. And if done right, I think that could be, you know, that could definitely, if done right, it it can improve the pacing problem that Kingdom Hearts has had in the past, I feel like, because like I know like especially with like 3, you know, it's just like you go to a bunch of Disney worlds and then everything is crammed at the end. And so I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Yeah.
I agree with you.
so.
I think it would help the pacing tremendously.
That's actually, if you think about it, like that's actually a consistent like issue that like the fan base has a lot, is the pacing. So it would that just like that overall like concept and idea would improve a lot of, you know, just how fans feel and also just the overall experience of the game, because like I mean the Disney part has never been the problem with Kingdom Hearts. It's just that I feel like a lot of times they have trouble incorporating, and they do it good sometimes, don't get me wrong. It's just like if they could find a way, like you said, to where they can just incorporate those big parts of the story, just put it in like as you like gradually move through the game, I feel like that would fix all the pacing issues.
Yeah.
And I think what you want to see, and there's no guarantee we see it, and you know, you guys feel free to tell me how you feel about this. I'd like to see more original storytelling in the Disney worlds, not here's the movie, Disney Sora's along for the ride.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because like the first thing I thought of was like Toy Box. Like I think that was cool.
I love Toy
Box. It was an original story. What was another one? Monsters Inc. You know, it was like an original story.
San Francisco too.
Yeah,
I love
actually,
San Francisco.
Yeah, a lot of
them
in 3.
Yeah.
Actually, I think those were the only ones in 3. Now I'm thinking, were those the only ones that had original stories? I don't know.
I think Olympus.
Oh yeah, Olympus.
Thing.
Yeah. But no, because I think like it's cool having like Sora, Donald, and Goofy or whoever like in those stories. Like that's really cool.
There's ways to do it right. Like I think what's it called? The Tangled World did it really well, where it really felt like, you know, them and Flynn Rider were all a gang. It actually felt like they belonged. And incoming controversial thought, it didn't work in Arendelle. It really felt like they were just shoved in.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, like and again, that's something I would like to see, you know, like because it's like, okay, a lot of us know these movies and it's cool to like relive them via gameplay. But I would like to see more, you know, I'm trying to think, cause like, I think like Kingdom Hearts 3 tried to do this, but like 1 and 2, I think did this a little bit better of like integrating, you know, like the actual story of Kingdom Hearts into the worlds. Like, for example, like so Kingdom Hearts 3 did it well with like some of like the villains, like with like, you know, Jack Sparrow and Luxor.
I would say the Pirates world, they nailed it.
Yeah. Like it's like funny because some worlds do it really good where they mix the stories well, and then some worlds completely just forget about the overarching story and then just have nothing to do with it.
So I mean, look, it's not like playing through the Disney worlds is 90% of the time a great time.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
You know, like you're saying, these sort of story pacing discrepancies that, you know, Steph brought up, kind of universally across the fan base, everybody wants to see improved. You know, I like their idea that they have to protect a world order and you can't let these worlds know about like the outside overarching world, which I kind of find that cool, that like the oldest Disney properties are like sitting at the top of the Disney hill, keeping everything below them in check. I don't know.
Yeah,
from like Mickey to Chippendale. I find
yeah. For sure.
But let's talk about Kairi. I want to talk about Kairi because she was a big focus in Remind, and while not Remind, Melody of Memory, but Remind too, I suppose. This was very much kind of tying up loose ends on the Dark Seeker saga and very much set up for the next saga. And I thought they handled Kairi incredibly well in this end game. I don't know how you guys think. I'm open to discuss it. I can't find myself disagreeing with any move they made.
You want to go, Andy?
Yeah, I'll go. I gotta think. Oh my gosh, Steph's put me on the spot. No, So are you talking about like Remind and Melody of Memory?
Yeah, we could rope them both
like this whole like
Epilogue, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I think I think what they're doing is, and I think this is actually, I know this is what everybody wants, is like, we want more Kairi, because she's like that one character who honestly has like some of the least amount of screen time out of like a lot of these characters, and especially for somebody who's like plays such who's such like a pivotal part of like Sora's story, and so I think like what they're doing, and I really hope this is the route they go, is like, like remind, for one, playing as her, but also like, her even just like, basically, I think, was it me and you, Landy, that talked about this, or me and I don't remember who I talked about this with, but whenever like, Kairi's like holding Sora together, like in Kingdom Hearts 3 for him to save everybody, she was playing a very important role, but it was in the background, And so I think they're really leading into, especially with like Melody and Memory, is kind of like an introduction of, this is going to be not Kairi's arc, but it's going to be more, we're going to get more of her. Like it's going to be her time to shine, especially going forward. And I think, like, oh my gosh, like Alison Stoner and Melody and Memory, her voice acting was like,
holy shit. I mean, I felt the voice acting in Remind and Melody and Memory is a step above the rest of the backlog.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like specifically Alison Stoner as Kairi.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Even in, I mean, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember like some of her voice lines in Kingdom Hearts 3, but like, I just remember sitting watching the cutscenes. I was like, dude, she's like killing this voice right now.
Crushing
like
it.
She nailed it.
I think she really understands the role.
Yeah, and that makes me more excited for like, okay, let's get more of this,
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll maybe talk about the future of what, like Kingdom Hearts after this game looks like, because I have some thoughts about that implementing Kairi, but we'll talk about that later. But
well, how do you feel about her hanging back and not going to Quadratum? I know for me personally, I loved it. Like, I wanted her to go, you know what I mean? I wanted her to go, but she's got to earn this. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, Steph, do you have anything to add before? Because I have something to say on top of that. I don't know if Steph has
Yeah, I mean, like, Kairi, like, you could tell just from, like, when she encounters, like, Xehanort and stuff, and, like, you can tell, like, she's been, like, getting spicy with the Keyblade, so...
Dude, she had the best fight choreography in the whole series.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Yes.
That was incredible.
Getting good. And Xehanort says that, too. Well, memory Xehanort, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, what do we even call him? Memory Xehanort.
But, yeah, I mean, she's improving. But, I mean, I think they handled it great. I think they did a great job. Voice acting, of course, was on point. Alison Stoner's a beauty. So, basically, they did a great job with that. And then it's got to be, I'm about to hand it back to y'all, but it's got to be setting up a peak. It looks like they're building momentum for her, which is what, the fan base has been wanting. And they're building it up. And right before, Riku's about to dip out, she wants to go. But Riku's like, it's not right. You're not ready. But she understands, which is a great level of maturity for her, for one. But also she knows that she can get better. Like, it doesn't waver her
and
confidence.
And that's what I like,
Yeah, like, she doesn't get, like, super down. Like, she gets kind of, like, sad. But at the same time, she knows, she's like, I'll get there. It's just not now. But
and she wants to be the best that she can be before, like, tackling this, like, task, that they're trying to tackle.
They're going to the other side, bro. They're going to the other side.
We have no idea what's over there. Like, they've only heard, besides Riku in, like, his dreams, what he saw, they've only ever really heard of this place. Like, we don't know what else is over there,
And I like, go ahead, keep going.
No, I was going to say, I think something that, this is, like, what I think is going to happen is, because Kairi was like, okay, I want to go study under Master Aqua.
Amazing move. Amazing move. Amazing move.
Two queens. Come on.
Nothing but net.
Well, so here's what I think's going to happen, right? Riku's got to get over there. I think what's going to happen is, again, speculation. The next game we're going to get is possibly a Verum Rex game. We get a Verum Rex game. We explore Yozora's whole story. It ends with either like Yozora fighting Sora, like in the secret episode, or it could like end there. Maybe there's like a secret episode to that. Riku shows up on the other side. Yozora and Riku fight. Riku gets bodied, and Kairi's going to have to be forced to cut her training off early and go save them both.
Yeah.
Segue.
Well, that's a Luke Skywalker move right there.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
I think
it.
that's something that could happen.
I think we're going to see something like that. I think we're going to see that line she had come to fruition in the future, that I'll be right there beside you and Sora. Yeah. I think like what you're getting at, Andy, is I think the direction they're going to go with this is she's going to show up when we need her most. Yes. And that's what they're looking for. Because I don't know. I would not have liked if they just fast tracked her to Sora and Riku's level. Those motherfuckers have been through so much. Like Realm of Darkness, like you could pile it up, getting possessed, almost becoming a vessel. Like when you look at like what Sora and Riku have been through, if we just fast tracked Kairi to their skill level, it wouldn't have felt deserved, and I think it falls flat.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Her going back to train with Aqua, the one who bequeathed her, what I love about this is the parallel between Kairi and Aqua, Terra and Riku. In Remind, you had that scene where Terra and Riku, which for all the words they exchanged, it amounted to Terra basically saying, like, I got nothing to teach you. You're a Keyblade Master. I didn't have anything else planned. So whereas with Kairi, she's actually going to be trained by the one who bequeathed her.
Yeah, and it shows her maturity and humility, I think, as well. You know,
I like that it's her choice, that it was her idea, not Yen Sid's, not Aqua's. This was her choice.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That was one of my favorite parts of the game. Like because I didn't see them doing that. I didn't think they were gonna be like Kairi and Aqua training, and then like when that happened and Yen Sid was just like, yeah, let's do it.
I approve. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. If it means I don't have to get out of this chair.
So he's like,
one time, I'll get out one time, but oh man, to split the Red Sea, but man.
So are we gonna get more Yen Sid backstory? Because I felt like they kind of played with it a little bit. To hear Xehanort, like, call me crazy, I don't really recall him ever really referring to Yen Sid until that moment. Maybe he might have mentioned it in the beginning of Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
But like this scene, like for him to be like, oh, for a retired Keyblade Master, Yen Sid prepared you awfully well.
He might have, I think in Birth by Sleep, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember though.
Sleep,
I want to know why he walked away. Right? Like that's what I'm looking for.
You
Dark
think
Road,
like I was gonna say, you think like we could see something in Dark Road? Like what
I'm hoping.
What if like
so.
Oh gosh. What if like Yen Sid ends up being like one of the upperclassmen or something?
That'd be so sick.
Or like something like that. I don't know. Like he ends up being one of those characters, and I don't know. Like again, just speculation.
There's so many possibilities.
There's so many.
Oh, okay. Wait. We're not finished with that, right? Or was there?
No, let's
Dude,
keep
go
going.
for it.
Keep going.
Go for it, man.
Okay, let me. I just had it, bro. It came and went. Hold up.
You're gonna get it.
Let me get the fishing rod here.
Yes. Okay, I got it. It came
Reel it back in. Let's go.
Okay, so Yen Sid says something about the lost masters that went into the other side. Do y'all remember that? Okay, was that about to come up? I feel like you had that.
Okay, so
let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it because there's something about that is actually different in the Japanese translation. But I'm gonna wait until you talk about it first.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Nick? Like about that?
So it seemed a little out of left field that the foretellers would just be here on the other side. Not saying it's not possible, not saying it's not the truth, but it seems, I don't know what to make of it. As someone who's watched back cover a million times, I don't know what to make of it yet. I also don't know what it means that Yen Sid wants them to begin their search in Scala ad Kylum, because now we know that Xehanort knew about the other side. So what does Scala ad Kylum know about the other side? Like if that's where the ancient Keyblade Masters are, in the other world, or that's where they were?
With Scala, Xehanort said, this is the nexus from which all worlds
spring.
So it's, you know, it's possible that it's like, okay, Scala might have a clue. We've got, you know, obviously Daybreak Town hanging under Scala, or the tower, I should say, hanging under Scala. So it's like, this could be a clue. It's, you know, it's not just something that's like, because we went to, whenever, the only time like we went to Scala was whenever we actually fought Xehanort in 3. And I feel like that was just something that was kind of just like lost to memory. You know, it was just like, because we just like went into like Xehanort's.
Well, we were in his heart. If I'm
right. But now that it's actually like, oh wait, this is an actual place that still exists. I think it's a big deal. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, okay, I just came up with like a cool. Okay, I just came up with a really cool idea. Just real quick.
Yo, spill it, baby.
So how Yensid says like you'll start in Scala, right? What if, like, when we're in Scala, we had to find, like, and this is just an idea. Like, this is just off the wall. Like, we had to find a certain, like, clue or a certain object. But they're looking at Scala, they can't find it. But they're like, what if it's at Daybreak Town and they have to go underwater? And, like, wouldn't that be
Mickey's got to go underwater. He sent Mickey. So.
That would be sick, though, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Is that a bad idea?
I don't know. I mean, hey, anything is possible. Let's kick the bards, man.
It would be interesting to see. Yo, okay, here's my other question. Maybe one of you can help me. So what's that book on Yensid's table that he's always reading?
Well, wasn't that in Kingdom Hearts 2, or is that a different book? You know, like that thing in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you could actually press triangle and read it, and then it's like a whole thing? You know what I'm talking about? It's like at the very beginning of the game. Really?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right before Sora gets his new clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in Yensid's tower. You have that whole cutscene of like whenever he's discussing like, okay, here's the Heartless, here's the Nobodies, here's the organization, they're stronger nobodies. There's like that book that's open and you can actually read it. So, I mean.
Do you remember anything that was in it?
I have to go read it again, but I'm wondering if like something is like in there. I don't know.
Could it be the Book of Prophecies? Is that
I don't think so. Like, I feel like it was the Book of Prophecies, and Yensid would have been like, hey, like, here's how we stop, like, Keyblade War, basically, because it's, like, outlined. I don't know. But I was actually going to so the thing I wanted to bring up earlier with because you were saying about the Ancient Masters crossing over. So
yeah, that translation.
The Japanese translation, it's actually singular. It's the Ancient Master.
Oh,
as in
that changes the whole context.
Exactly. It's interesting. It's like,
it's
why
Ava.
Is that?
It's
well,
Ava.
I was thinking the Master of Masters, but
okay.
I mean
that's what I was thinking.
It could be like, you know,
it could be Ava. Yo, imagine Ava was just like blending into that world somewhere.
She's actually like the star. It's like, what?
I was thinking that, bro. I was thinking that. I swear I was thinking that, because think about it. Look, Ava's gone. What if she was the one that crossed over? Yeah, but I don't know. If
she wasn't there in the epilogue. I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Well,
maybe I'm tripping.
But it is interesting because somebody actually brought this to my attention. Like, hey, so like, this is like kind of weird, but like the Japanese translation is ancient. It's not Ancient Masters. He says He says like ancient, like master, singular, and I'm like, wow, that's like
everything.
It does.
That changes
so, like,
so much. So like, why would they do that?
Like what? I mean, like, it's interesting. Maybe it's I don't know if it could be a mistake. Maybe it meant to say masters, but like the way that
the master makes more sense because the master's actually there.
It does, right? No, it does. Yeah. So I don't know.
They need to fix that, bro. They need to fix that because
that's a big boo boo.
Yeah, that's a big that changes like everything.
Right. So I have to actually find the source and then like send it to you.
Yeah, definitely. Please do.
It's I like somebody sent it to me and I read it and I was like, this is so weird. Like that it's like that. But again, like it might be a mistake. I don't know. It could be like maybe that's what it's meant to be, because like that's something that we need to know. So
this would mean Yensid has an idea that the master exists, right? To some regard.
Oh, I think for sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, if he knows about like the Ancient Masters, you know, I feel like he has to.
Is he the one playing 4D chess with the master? Do you guys think? You think he? You think he smells something? Because he hasn't
He's
exactly.
sniffing.
You think he's sniffing something?
Yeah, like Riku in Chain of Memories. You guys smell the same.
The scent.
The scent. I don't know. Like, I mean, he doesn't get up out of his freaking chair. Like, he could be playing online 5D chess with everyone's lives. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like we'd have to know more about Yen Sid to kind of like, and then also know more about the Master. Because again, we don't know a lot about the Master. We actually don't really know jack about the Master, really. Like, so.
Well, he purposely keeps everything relatively ambiguous.
Yeah.
You know, he's but look, we are coming up. We're about 45 minutes deep. We can keep this running, but is there anything you guys in particular wanted to touch on before we start running up on too much time?
Steph, you got something?
Mm.
I feel like you got something. I just sense it.
You're holding out on us, Steph.
Man.
Stop holding out on us, bro.
Okay, so here's the thought. So let's just real quick, just like the future after Melody of Memory. So do you think, because I know that they said I think on the 20th anniversary, so 2 years from now, we'll get an announcement on the next title. Do y'all think it seems more likely that it'll be in Quadratum? But at the same time, they set up to where it could be a Kairi and Aqua game. They set up to where it could be a Riku Sora game. There's a lot of different routes they could take. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is what game do you think will come next? If you had to just take a shot in the dark.
Right. I think like if they did a full-fledged Kairi game like next, I think it would just be like her training, as in like maybe she goes to like other worlds that we haven't seen yet and she just like does stuff. I don't know. Like it could be something like, I don't know if like I would want that because that would just kind of seem like filler, except like, you know, but I mean, she's training.
Can I tell you my idea for that?
Sure.
What I actually kind of hope they do. So, you know how everybody wanted the Birth by Sleep sequel, right? Like that's an idea that's been tossed around. Now, imagine making that a crew of 4. You throw Kairi in, Terra's mentoring Ventus, Aqua's mentoring Kairi, and, you know, maybe you split them up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe like in Dream Drop, how you cycled back and forth between Sora and Riku, maybe here you cycle back and forth between, you know, Master and Mentor. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. That's interesting. I was thinking like, because before something that I think I talked about with you guys or one of you guys was like, I think it'd be cool to have like a Riku Kairi game where you just like cycle between both of them, you know, like just like, you know, give Kairi more time. But now with where the story's going, with Riku heading to Quadratum, Kairi staying behind, I think like, again, like I think I said this earlier, but like we could get a Verum Rex game to, you know, and then like, cause then it's like, okay, we're going to get Yozora's story and then it ends with Riku and them facing off. And then it's like, okay, now let's move forward with that and get caught up with that. Cause we don't know anything about really Yozora at all. And then segue into a possible maybe Kairi along with the Birth by Sleep crew, in which maybe you could implement that, like that, you know, master mentor like team into that. They go to Quadratum. I don't know. I think a Venom Rex game would be dope. Like, I really think it would. It would be very different, like, but it would, like, we need something on Yozora. We need some him and that whole, we need more on the other side, which we'll eventually get. But man, that's what I think's gonna happen. That's actually what I hope is gonna happen. But if not, like, I'm not gonna be disappointed. You know, I'm really open to anything. So,
do you think there's ever a world merger? You think that might be what's going on? Maybe the Master has some stake in merging these two worlds together? Because I found it awfully odd that he shapes the moon like Kingdom Hearts, almost as to say, like, I will shape this into my image. You know what I'm saying?
What I was thinking was like, okay, so the Master, it has, so the Book of Prophecies, right? The Master sees, okay, like, in the, like, darkness will prevail, light will expire. He sees that on this side. But maybe he finds out this existence about the other side. And he's like, I don't know anything about that other side. And we don't know the Master's motives. Is he looking for balance? Does he lean more light, more darkness? Like, he doesn't have knowledge on the other side, so maybe that's why he goes over there to try to like, you know, do something. I don't know. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he literally just went over there out of just sheer curiosity, like knowing his like how he is as like a character. Like he just like went over there just to like want to know what's over there. I would not be surprised if that's the case. And then it turns into this whole big thing.
Dude, I mean, like when I see that, I'm kind of like, when you said that, like maybe he's trying to merge the worlds. I think that could be a possibility. And I think maybe when I think about the Master, I always felt like he manipulated people in a certain way so the dominoes would fall in a certain line. So that way Sora would eventually end up in Quadratum. Because maybe like in a sense, Sora and Yozora being there are the keys to creating the merging the fictional or the other side into the world of Kingdom Hearts, because he does do the moon shape over the moon. So maybe if he creates a Kingdom Hearts in the other side, maybe that's the merger in a sense. And
but it's like why? But why does he want that merge though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. That's
the ultimate question.
But that is, I think you're onto something with that. You know, when like, you know, he does make that heart shape at the moon, as in like, and you can just see it as like, oh, Kingdom Hearts, haha, that's cute.
He said,
but
that's cute.
It's like, you know, like that's so like, I legit think you're onto something there, Nick. Like I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like an infiltration. Maybe like what he sees is, you know, in our side being the Kingdom Hearts side, that there's just no controlling it. There's no stopping it. This cycle of light and dark is just, it's going to perpetuate down to infinity. But if he could cross over to this other side, maybe in some way it gives him a means of control. Because I actually think at the end of the day, just from what I can gauge, we don't know exactly what the Master's after. We don't know why he's after it. Right. But maybe him and Xehanort had similar ideas. Because they seem to not run parallel to each other, but I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
you kind of know what I mean, right?
For sure.
Whereas like Xehanort was like, oh, I need access to Kingdom Hearts. I need to harness it and use it. Where the Master's like, no. I'm going to make my own, because then it's my Kingdom Hearts, which, you know, I don't know. Again, we're all just spitballing here, but just an idea.
Well, so here's the other thing, right? Because Kingdom Hearts on our side is like the heart of all worlds. So is there a Kingdom Hearts on the other side? Or like what do you guys like think about that? Or is he like trying to maybe like you were saying, like he's trying to merge them or like create something? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just a thought that came to me. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think it really depends on kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like, so from our side, the Kingdom Hearts side, Verum Rex or Quadratum is a video game. And it comes back to what Nick said originally. Like, do they realize that they're fiction, or do they really think, or is their reality? At what point does their video game or the way their reality is, do they know that they're a video game, or do they think the other side is Kingdom Hearts and that's a video game?
And that's just the game the whole time. Like, dude, we don't know.
It's too much, bro. It's too
brain
much.
melting.
Or it's a mix of both, and the Master is kind of manipulating both sides. Like, what if it's all just like some big like Matrix thing?
And the black box, you open it and has a controller, and you're just gaming.
Freaking black box. What's in the black box? Hope. That's all we know. What does that mean?
You know, this might be a good time to talk about your recent theory a little bit, Andy, because I think it shines some light on that. Because I think Kingdom Hearts is a very odd role in Quadratum. Because, you know, just off the top of my head, what I draw is Yozora's got keyblades on his jacket, but he doesn't use keyblades.
Right. So I put out a video like a couple days ago. It was just like
I didn't see it. I'll have to check it out.
It's a concept that I've actually been thinking about for like years.
I think like, you might be more on the money than you realize.
Like I've been thinking about it, but then after I finished the game, I was talking to my chat, and then they brought it up, or somebody in my chat brought it up, and I was like, I've been like low key thinking about that. I was like, oh, this would be cool. And then like, what if like, and then it just got me thinking. I was like, okay, like let's just like make a video about this and just get it out there. But the concept of Keyblade hunters, and so like because Yozora has like, okay, I'll just start with this. What if on the other side, I kind of want to do like a whole series of like called Adversaries of the Other Side, and kind of do like a whole series of like, okay, what are like, because the other thing I was thinking about was like, does the other side have a Kingdom Hearts? It could, like, we don't know what the rules are like on the other side. We don't know. Like, we don't know if there is a Kingdom Hearts that is the heart of all worlds on the other side. We don't know if it's like the same over here as it is over there. We don't know how the rules pertaining traversal between worlds on the other side works. If there's barriers, if they're like, you know, like we don't know. And like, what if, you know, things are different over there? Like they're like, what kind of people would you encounter? And then one thought that I thought would be cool was like, oh, maybe, you know, the concept of Keyblade hunters. And then what got me thinking was Yozora, because it's interesting if you look at Yozora's, like, if you just like go in data grading and just like zoom in on his like arm, he has like a skull and crossbones, but the crossbones are Keyblades. And then it's a skull and there's a crown on the head and there's hair on it that looks like Sora's.
Yeah.
And so
But
he doesn't use a Keyblade. But he's more of like a technomancer type like character, like, you know, the way he fights with his weapons, and he can also like steal your Keyblade. So I was thinking like, what if he's like a, you know, he's like a Keyblade hunter? Like he doesn't actually use your Keyblade against you, but he actually absorbs the Keyblade's powers because like that's what his weapon does. And so
it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Like that, I think that would be such a cool concept. And like, and then there could be like, you know, they can have like, you know, they don't have to be a bad group. They can have reasons for what they do, you know, like the wielders of the Keyblades, they can, you know, bring ruin and destruction as in the secret reports or whatever.
And you don't even need to go that far. They're just an infiltration of reality. Yeah. It's like, hey, if you see a Keyblade wielder, they're not from here and they don't belong here.
Right. And so I think that would be such a cool concept. Like, think about that. Like, it's dope. And then you have like I could see Yozora as being like, he's like a good guy. But then there's like bad guys, like who are like Keyblade hunters who like just hunt for sport, you know? Just like, what if they actually, but what if they traverse over to like the other side and then like hunt and then like take the Keyblades as like trophies or something like that, you know? And it would be interesting because now that I'm thinking about it, if you want to incorporate Lucio into all of this, he would fit really well into blending in over there if this is a thing because of the whole Zigbar gunslinger, you know, like vibe that he's got going on. I don't know. Like, I think it's a cool concept. It's something that I would like to see. If nothing comes out of it, I'm cool with it. But like, I think it's a cool idea. So
I don't know about you guys, but I want them to build like a Luxord Lushu rivalry.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that was something that they, you know, like the groundwork was being laid of that
in Reminds. Yeah.
You know? Oh my God.
That's one of my favorite exchanges in the whole series.
Same. I love it.
The two of them, my God.
Because it's two people who like
are from different places and they've transcended into this world.
And then two people who are like know more than what they let on. And it's like, I don't know if like Lucio is one step ahead of Luxord or Luxord is one step ahead of Lucio. Like they just know so much. Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool.
I want them to sink into that.
Oh, and with the Keyblade Hunter thing, like we know, or we're assuming that Yozora is like a commander. Could be a commander.
Yeah, he said that, yeah.
You know, this faction or some kind of faction like that. But, you know.
Do you think the way they travel between worlds in Quadratum is dreams? You know, because that's how Yozora was able to reach Sora. He like wakes up, right? And then Luxor's like, impressive, is it not? And you have to ask yourself, like, what's impressive? Does he have a device in his ear or something? Like, Quadratum seems very techno-based. I think that's something you brought up in your video. It's very technology-based. It's not a lot of magic going on.
Right.
So when he goes into that dreamscape and sees Sora, it's like, what's impressive? Like, when he says, like, what does he mean by that? We don't know, obviously.
Yeah. Steph, you got anything on that?
Dude, I don't know. Like originally, like I was thinking that he was talking about the Keyblade's impressive, but then I think about what you said, and you talk about the patch that's on Yozora's arm, and it seems like he already knew about the Keyblade, so that kind of goes out the window for me. But maybe he was talking about like because in a sense, Luxord did at least want Sora to live because he gave him the wild card, which we still don't know what that was for. So maybe he was just telling Yozora like Sora is actually like really either skilled. I don't know what he told him, but
it's like it's like he succeeded in a tryout, like he didn't get cut.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were born for these sorts of games.
So good.
Here you go.
Dude, well, because there's also like other imagery on like Yozora's clothes. Like there's Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy imagery. Like he has like a chocobo, I think, on his keychain, on like his zipper or something.
Which makes me wonder: are they
Like,
going to play it like Yozora's from our worlds, like as humans, like where the other side of the screen? I don't know, but it's almost like they have Kingdom, like you're saying, they have Kingdom Hearts merch. I think somebody screenshotted. There was like a Kingdom Hearts like logo, like the crown logo is on one of the screens.
Oh, like on. Oh, yeah. Like I want to say Shibuya Quadratum.
So like Quadratum has context of our world, but our world doesn't have context of theirs.
That's true.
It's very.
Well, what about the commercial in Toy Box?
Oh God, that's gonna twist us up even more now.
Well, that is interesting because it's like that just kind of happened.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Because it's like, well, what was like your first experience when you guys saw that? Like, because you go in the toy box and then it just, that commercial just starts playing. Like, what were you guys thinking? I'm just curious.
Dude, it was just like kind of the movie Toy Story, because like they were watching Rex was watching something. I think it was Zurg or something.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. But like it was really similar to he was playing a game, right? In the movie.
Yeah,
he was playing a game.
Too.
Yeah, and it was about Zurg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it was a lot similar to that. So I was like,
and then you see someone who looks like Noctis, and it's like, what is this?
What is going on here?
Dude, my first impressions were just like, I was just like, what? Like maybe he just put it in, like, you know, to just mess around. But when you revisit that, like, and actually we didn't revisit that until Remind, right? Yozora didn't come into fruition until Remind.
Right.
So when I seen that, bro, I was like, gosh, dude, like this is such good story writing. But my first impressions, I was just like confused. I didn't really think much into it, to be honest with you.
Right. I literally just thought, I was like, oh, it's just a game that Rex is playing. Okay, that's cool. Kind of looks like characters from Final Fantasy 15. That's funny, Nomura. That's cute. You know, whatever. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that was my first impression. I thought it was just a gag, just like the Kingdom Hearts 2.9. I thought this was a gag, and I was like, oh shit. That's one thing I thought 3 did very well. It's definitely in terms of like comedy, is the funniest in the main line.
It is pretty hilarious.
There's a lot of funny jokes in there. And it's so funny how like the funniest moment of Woody roasting Xehanort now with Dark Road out.
It's really freaking sad.
It's so
it's really sad now.
Yeah, now that we have that context.
He says, my guess is no one's ever loved you before.
Yeah, that was
and you know nothing about the hearts and love. And then you just cut to like Xehanort at like the graves of like all of his classmates. It's brutal.
Speaking a little out of turn there, Woody.
I wonder if Nomura did that on purpose. Like,
who knows, bro? Kairi's in the machine from Kingdom Hearts 1. Who even knows
the arc
anymore? Who even knows? Who even knows? But we're coming up. We're just over an hour right now. I want to thank you two for coming on. The individual podcasts I've done with you guys are some of my favorite. I absolutely love that. I got incredible feedback. It's really cool to bring the both of you in here at once. I don't want to let you go before you get your plugs in. Let people know what you got going on. Get your final words. And if you have any remaining thoughts about Melody of Memory that we didn't get to in the last hour, please feel free to let them out here at the end.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just go first. I almost said Steph, thanks for having me on. Landy, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for putting this together, man.
Because I was looking at Steph whenever I was talking on the screen. Well, actually, I think Steph's the one who was like, because I met with Steph first, and then he kind of got us connected. So here we are. So,
Yeah. So in a way, Steph, you really did set this up.
Dude,
Actually, that was an accurate statement.
He's the man. But dude, Landy, thank you so much for having me in the lodge once again. I appreciate it. I love it. It's always, this is like some of my favorite things to do is like talk about Kingdom Hearts with, with friends, like I consider you guys friends, and it's great. So yeah, again, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And this is a lot of fun. I love whenever we can just get together and just chat, but yeah, so I'm Andy Bru. I basically just play games on my channel. So that's like, that's the most part of it. Like, it's a lot of live playthroughs. We stream a bunch of games. I make the occasional Kingdom Hearts theory or Kingdom Hearts video. You'll get a lot of Kingdom Hearts content on my channel. That's kind of where my channel started, but it's mostly like live playthroughs of games, reactions, trailer reactions, stuff like that. And kind of just, some other miscellaneous stuff, really just kind of whatever I feel like doing. But yeah, so that's me. Yeah, that's all I really got. So come check it out if you want, if you're into that thing.
Yeah. So dude, thanks for having me in the lodge. It really is. It's an experience. It's fun. Always great combos, dude. Like the way you transition everything is always so smooth, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun talking about this is a game that we all enjoy, and it's just good talking with good people, and we've all kind of formed a really good friendship along the way. But pretty much right now, I don't do YouTube videos as far as like Kingdom Hearts like I used to, but I make music now, which I will put on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do a lot of rebranding. So I would plug it, but it'll have to, I'm doing a lot of rebranding right now. So I'll wait on that. But you can follow me on Twitter. It's just nobody, X Steph13 if you want to. And yeah, man, just thanks for having us on. It's always a blast. You do a great job with your podcast. So I hope you know that.
Yeah, dude. These are like the best podcasts. Like I love them. Like for real. You do a phenomenal job.
Thank you, dudes. The guests are what make it happen. The guests are what make it interesting. The people who listen to this show, and myself included, can only hear myself ramble for so long. So it's great to have some other insightful guests on. I do want to say, but before we wrap up, going on each one of you, starting with you, Andy, it's really hard for me to watch some streamers. And that's no fault of the streamer. I guess it's just not something I'm into watching all that much.
I'm the same way. Oh, yeah.
But I actually really genuinely enjoy your streams.
I appreciate that.
I think they're a whole other level from other people that I'll watch from time to time. I genuinely enjoy them. You got a knack for it, and just keep up the good work. And now moving over to Steph, I could say the same thing about your music. The genre that you create is not my typical go-to genre, but I think I've told you before, I would come back to your videos just to hear those first like 15-second jingles of your tunes. And
jingles,
yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. I'm really looking forward to hearing these upcoming songs you got coming out fully fleshed out. I'll be happy to have, 150 seconds of music as opposed to 15. So I really look forward to it. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, there's links in the descriptions to follow these guys. Please do. They make incredible content. Thank you both so much for coming on. Huge shout out to the Sages of the Lodge. All of you sickos and normies, thank you so much for coming through. We'll see you on the next one. It's a beautiful time to be a Kingdom Hearts fan, and there's no room for getting off Papa Nomura's wild ride. So we'll catch you all on the next one. Homies, thanks for coming through.